Since my cardiac arrest, I had to deal actually a lot with hearing bad news, and I'm pretty sure that's something that you're quite familiar with. Each time that I go to the hospital, it's like, oh yeah, this medication doesn't work, so we gotta try this one. I've been on like 5 different medications, from a beta blocker to a ACE inhibitor to a calcium channel blocker to something very different that I'm on right now. Uh, from the surgery that doesn't work, from other things that they noticed, like, this might be another cardiac arrest almost. Like, yeah, I had to deal a lot with hearing bad news, and that's can be quite upsetting. It doesn't. When I return from the hospital, it's not like I am not influenced by hearing that news.
Mm.
Um, Everyone has been telling me though to keep, hope, and it's not like I don't do that. I keep hope, as long as there are options, there's hope. But still, it's not easy to deal with this. How have you learned to deal with hearing bad news? Is there an approach to this? And as I said in the beginning, everyone will hear bad news in their life at some point.
Mm. Mm.
Have, yeah, what approach do you use, if any?
Okay, so the first thing I would say, like, hearing bad news is bad. Like
Yeah, yeah.
like I would not recommend to try, let's say, a positive psychology approach of like, oh,
Yeah.
I can see now the positive in it, and sometimes you get bad news and it's just like, I mean, I don't know what word I can use on this podcast, but it's just bad, you
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
so, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it means that you care about living, and I think it's okay to be upset, and it's okay to be sad, and it's okay. That's what I learned, that I have to live through all these emotions, and maybe I don't have to do that publicly, but I want to live through them in my timeline that I need. And then once I have processed, I can calm down and then see, okay, what can we do and what is the plan? But I allow myself to let the bad news be bad. And in the same way that when I have good news, I open a bottle of champagne and like, yeah, like it's the same. It would not be honest if I would not be affected. But what I
Thank you,
changed in my,
actually. Sorry to interrupt, but thank you for,
yeah,
for, for saying that. Because
yeah,
that's something that I feel people just don't understand often when they don't
yeah,
have to deal with something like serious, or even with a small thing. People try to be too
yeah,
positive, and it's actually very lonely when people do that
yeah,
for the person trying to say something, right? Because you're not
yes.
connecting. You're not trying to
And
listen to what they're saying.
if you are somebody listening and you're like not directly affected, there is at the beginning of a bad news is just a period where you don't have to give advice, just
Yeah.
ask the other person, how do you feel, then
Yeah.
listen what they say, and then say, yeah, I can imagine that this feels really shit. Like, don't try to jump directly into solutions, because maybe the other person is not there yet. So we should, I think we should really allow ourselves to go through this emotional timeline, because emotions unfold in a timeline, and if you interrupt it, then you're just gonna cover it under the surface, but it still somewhere needs to be processed.